Have you seen this? One of Gaspar Noé's more uplifting films about the death of a drug-addicted orphan.
Welcome to Have You Seen This?
The world's only podcast about obscure, overlooked, and misbegotten media.
All discussions will be spoiler heavy.
You have been warned.
It do be like that.
It do, indeed. And I know that, Jen, you have your story about when you went to see Wet Hot American Summer, which is casting a long shadow on this podcast. But like you, I went to see Enter the Void in a theater with maybe 6 people, and I was the only one laughing.
And that does sum up about how well the movie did.
Yeah.
It says right in the Wikipedia article that the movie did poorly at the box office, which is
unfortunate, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer because
a huge bummer to me personally.
This is a really fascinating movie.
It is. Yeah, because I mean, Irreversible got a lot of press because you get to see, what's her name from the second Matrix?
Monica Bellucci.
You get to see Monica Bellucci get raped for 7 minutes, and that is, you're really giving the audience what they want, I guess.
It's a fun movie about fun things.
It's a fun, delightful movie. There are boners in it. There's a really didactic card at the end.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of our experiences with Gaspar Noé films, I had to run Irreversible back when I was a projectionist. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that title card come up at the end of the movie, which is technically the beginning, I just was like, oh, fuck you!
Right, yeah. That's sometimes, an enfant terrible like Gaspar Noé or, my man Lars von Trier, like, they can overplay their hand. And, you can have a movie that is just like this, soul-crushing, slog to get to the end, just like crawling across broken glass till you finally get to, the final denouement, and you're like, oh, fuck you. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, and I'll actually go to bat a little bit for Noé, even though he is a very, very, very divisive filmmaker. I think the last one of his that you and I saw in the theater, in fact, we saw together, was Climax, which was, I was like, that was not bad. I don't think you cared for it.
I was not a fan of Climax. I mean, I like the dance number, but you kind of, once you get to know Noé, you're like, okay, here he is doing his tricks again. It's like, oh, there's a kid in this movie. Are they going to die terribly? Like, oh, is someone going to, like, suffer before being, like, murdered? Like, oh, that's just another fun night at Gaspar's house.
Yeah, and I was thinking while I was watching tonight's movie, Enter the Void, from 2009, that Noé isn't exactly that concerned with nuances of character.
Right. It's allowed.
I would say that the characters in most of his movies seem to be pretty flat just because he concerns himself with such, crushing degradation and really, base human instincts. If, most people when they step in dog shit, they'll, pull up their foot and go, oh, God, but Gaspar Noé will step in dog shit and then just keep mashing his foot into the dog shit and being like, oh, damn, look at that dog shit.
This is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that in a bad way because,
cherish the dog shit. How many times are you going to encounter this?
It's a solid gold dog turd. No, the way that he explores, what is utterly base about humanity can be quite fascinating. Some people don't respond to it. I won't say that I love Irreversible, but, fuck it. He went for it. I mean, there's a club in it called The Rectum.
Right.
He is in the movie in that scene, as a masturbating patron, because he wanted to make it clear, I don't think I'm any better than gay people. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of people were fucking pissed about Irreversible because, they thought it was misogynistic and homophobic and all the other fun stuff. A lot of the kind of thing which gets flung at Von Trier.
Oh,
who,
yeah.
as longtime listeners know, I am a great defender of Von Trier. Tim less so, but
only for
it's
only for
allowed.
the same reasons about Noé, where it's like, there's some works that he does that you just like, you dive in and you just wallow in it, and you enjoy just like every moment of it, and then he gives you another one, and it's like, oh, this same slop again. So that's kind of the way I feel about it, because I am kind of like back and forth on all the Noé movies that I've seen, because I have gone to see a number of them, even the one I can't remember the name of. Is it just called Love? Yeah, I saw that in like 2013, 2014 or so. And
whenever the
people are
fuck
going to
it
be,
came
that's
out.
amazing, Tim, because it came out in 2015. But whatever. But yeah, like I saw that. The poster was kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, I believe it was just genitals.
Right, it was just an ejaculating erection. Because like you say, he has very flat, obvious characters. Like he isn't playing it to be subtle.
Yeah, like his characters are motivated by the most essential things. Survival, sex. The most elevated that it kind of gets is drugs.
Yeah.
Which is a very big part of Enter the Void, because and this is how corny he can be. Like there's literally like one of the lines of dialogue in Enter the Void is like, I think like it's something like dying would be like the greatest
the
trip
ultimate
of all.
trip, yes.
Yeah, and it's like, oh damn, bro, like that's fucking wild, dude. Did you come up with that yourself? He didn't. The story on Enter the Void is that Noah actually doesn't understand, or at the time didn't understand English that well, so he let the actors improvise their dialogue.
Yeah, they give a lot of credit up front at the beginning.
If you can read the credits.
I feel like we could do an episode just about the opening credits.
I remember distinctly that when you saw the movie, at some point, like you made a point of like showing me the credits. You're just like, you have to see the opening credits to Enter the Void.
You do, and yeah, and it isn't, and also because I did see this in the theater, as you mentioned. I got invited by friend of the show Darren, who's more
shouts out Darren.
more culture than me anyway. And afterwards he's like, oh, did you see Thomas Bangalter did the soundtrack? And I'm like, how the fuck would I see that? I must have blinked when they showed his name. Because, it's like in between, like seizure-inducing Japanese characters briefly in, like LCD type. It says Thomas Bangalter, and you're like, what? While you're trying to read, like, the names of 4 songs in 6 frames of film, to be generous. The titles are fucking wild.
Yeah, Thomas Bangalter, of course, being one half of Daft Punk.
Right.
Not Guy Manuel.
Right, yeah.
Or Guy... no, Guy...
Guy Manuel Amon Cristo.
Thank you. It was Guy Manuel.
Yeah.
I thought my mouth had said like Lin-Manuel Miranda or something gross like that.
It's Tom and Guy. Tom and some guy.
Right. And Thomas Bangalter, I believe at the time, was actually involved with the soundtrack for the Tron reboot. So he didn't do like a soundtrack per se, but he did kind of like a music assemblage, which I think is fucking great. I love the soundtrack to this movie because it's exactly my shit. It's like very, very ambient, very like, just kind of like pulses within the body, almost like just kind of like thumping, like club beats. It exactly fits the milieu of this movie, which is basically an extended trip, which could mean any number of things, through and above Tokyo.
Yeah.
But maybe, Tim, you want to give like the capsule summary of Enter the Void?
The capsule summary is, let me lead you through a first-person tour of the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yeah, which is a great fucking premise, right?
Right, yeah, it is. This is what happens when you die, or so you think, when you're dying. Let's kill this main character. Hey, you can't listen to this. If you want to hear the rest of this episode, you gotta head on over to patreon.com/haveyouseenthis. And for only $5 a month, you'll get the rest of this episode, plus one more every month, plus over 50 other patron-only episodes. Find the deep cuts for only $5 a month at patreon.com/haveyouseenthis. Link is in the description.